Hello, America. London calling.
I'm delighted to be here today with the very talented stage and film actor, Mr. Oliver Yellop. Thank you for joining us, Ollie.
Not a problem, Jeff. Always a pleasure to be here.
You seem to be able to flip effortlessly between stage and film and then back again. What's the difference between the two? How do the disciplines differ for you?
I once went to like an acting workshop about film acting, because through the whole time I trained, you're only doing theatre, and that's the best thing you do. I think like this country produces great theatre. The difference that our teacher said was film acting can be done by non-actors, which is true to a certain extent, not entirely, but it is just a completely different animal. But when you're on stage, you're painting in very bright colours. You know, it's the difference between like a Picasso and kind of like a still life, very naturalistic kind of painting. So for me, I look at them as really quite separate. I love both of them, but they're very, very different animals.
You performed in a one-man show at the King's Head Theatre, Loving Time of the Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Just on your own on stage. Yeah. Tell us about that. What's it about?
It is about a young guy called James who is desperately in love with one of his co-workers. And so it's at the office Christmas party, and he's desperate to talk to her, but he's always messed up his relationships. He's always had like unrequited love, and it's just a show talking about all of the women he's met, how he's messed it up, and the most embarrassing things he's done for love.
Well, we spoke with June Brown in an earlier episode of London Calling, and she was talking to us about a particular episode of EastEnders that she won an award for, where she did the entire scene on her own, which is quite rare, for instance, the entire episode on her own. And we were saying to her, do you prefer that aspect of working on your own, or do you prefer it when you're bouncing off of other actors? And she said that she actually preferred working on her own because she said she didn't have to think about anybody else. She could work out her own timing and such. How did you feel with being on stage for the entire time on your own? Would you prefer that, or do you prefer working with other actors?
I think one of the reasons that we do what we do is because we love people. We love working, we love performing, and this is the people industry. So I think there is a point where there is quite a disconnect when you're on your own, and kind of like got your 5-minute call, and you always want to hold your hand. It's just
Now, as people will know, you and I have actually worked together on film before, in the Episode.Of film Out. And in that film, of course, I played your mother. It's a long story. For the people that haven't seen it, tell us a little bit about that film.
Yeah, so Out, by the Spanish director Apres Lopez, is the story of a young man coming back to a small town. He's coming back with a secret. He's going to come out to his mother. And now he's got a sister. She's always known. I think they always know. The mother, maybe most people think his mother's always known. And it's basically their journey together and her acceptance from wild disapproval to eventually coming around accepting who he is and who she is as part of that process. And the most fantastic thing about the film is, of course, my lovely mother, who looks absolutely fantastic.
A big challenge for you must have been to take on the role of a gay person. So how did you prepare for that? Did it take much to get your head around? Did you have to do anything different that perhaps you wouldn't otherwise have done playing a straight character?
Yeah, to be honest, I spoke to a lot of my sort of gay friends about how they're coming out experience. I had a good chat with you about hazers, about how how that's realised. And I think in terms of preparation, like I wrote myself a little backstory. You know, kind of like, who was the first boy that I kissed? What was my first crush? When did I first I had it down as Jerry Halliwell at the 1997 Brit when she came out in the Union Jack thing. So I remember watching that and I was like, I'm in love. But from Oscar, my character's point of view was more kind of like just a different reaction to that. You know, loving it, but in a different way, not being sexually provoked by it, but but still being in an orbit in a different way.
More recently, you starred in a Gabriella Gislason, is that Gislason film?
Danish is always a funny,
called Samuel's Getting Pitched. And of course, it has a very strong Danish storyline running through it as well. Tell us about this film.
So this film is I was very lucky. I worked with an actor that I trained with at Central, and it's the story about two British guys going over to Denmark because one of them's getting married, and I play his best man. And it is an outrageous farce that basically, he wants to say his vows in Danish, but then he's lost his vows. And he's told a whole pack of lies to all of their family. We don't see his wife at any point during this. And one of the things he says, again, I play a gay character in that, he tells everyone that I'm straight, and he tries to set me up with her sister, and which just causes a whole other load of drama and jokes. And it's just a really, it's very touching at the end as well. You know.
This is definitely a guy that you need to watch. Ollie, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us today.
That's it for this week. Back to you in the studio, Xander.